So, something I was trying to nail down in an essay format, something I think has been talked about before, isn't talked about enough, especially among right wingers, up and coming right wingers, because you're often told generalities, vague things, and it's not helpful at all. What does I guess the question was, what does right wing media look like, and why is it often associated with Warhammer? It's associated with Warhammer a lot because Warhammer, especially when I was playing Rogue Trader, I kind of thought about this too. Is Warhammer has a lot of people who are unabashedly taking control, who are leading other people into death to achieve some goal. Now, if you really think about that, you can kind of see where the forces that be do not want you to realize that power. They don't want media to kind of help you realize that you can achieve that power. There is a thing about humanity, a thing about people that we are slowly realizing, like realizing, I guess, because some of this has been lost or some of this has been hidden. But remember studies done where there are some people who do not have an inner dialogue going, right? They don't have thoughts going around in here. Instead, they kind of, I guess they just kind of listen to what other people say and they just do whatever. They don't really have any inner monologue. That's what it is, inner monologue. There's no voice inside their head telling them what to do. Those people, this is what media will not tell you, and this is how you know what is right-wing media and what is not left, or what is not right-wing, what is inherently left-wing. Right-wing media encourages you to reach out to that part of yourself, a small part of the population who knows how to do this, because not everybody knows how to do this, the ability to use other people. There are some of us in society who have the ability to use other people. And this is an incredibly powerful force because you can coerce other people to do almost anything, including sacrifice themselves for you. And when you realize, if you do ever realize you have that power, I mean, that's incredible, right? And it's not something the people who are in charge, the elites, the Jews, whoever you want to say, the oligarchs, they don't want you to realize that power. But some people have it. And whether or not you realize you have it, you will use it to some extent. That's the wisdom part of the things is no matter where you are and whatever walk of life you are in, when you start to realize you have this power, you never abuse it. You use it wisely. But sometimes, depending where you're at, you will have to tell people who are under you to sacrifice themselves. Whether or not that's actual sacrifice, they're dying literally or figuratively, there is a goal in mind. And you have to, the part of the wisdom of that is knowing whether or not that was worth it, or whether or not that was right or wrong. Because that will affect you. That will affect people around you. That also affect people's perception of you. But that's more or less what is missing in a lot of media now is an actual hero is someone who is making those choices, making those decisions. That's why a lot of video games and other media that we had a long time ago, that's what was central to all of it. If it was Mass Effect, if it was Fallout, if it was whatever it was, is the central character became a leader and had a bunch of people at his disposal and basically more or less had the ability to tell them, like, we're going to do this goal and you're going to die for it. And the person who listened to that is not in the same position. They're not a leader. They are a follower. They exist to die for the cause or for your instructions that you gave them. And now you see why this kind of thing is not talked about, and why people don't want you to realize that power, because one is a lot of people will abuse it, but two is that's competition. So I guess that's it. That's a problem with a lot of left-wing media is when you have a hero, the hero's not making these decisions. The hero is passive. The hero is actually following instructions. Because that's where they want you to be. They want you to be a follower. They don't want you to be a person who is making decisions, who is critically thinking about anything. They want a robot. They want a slave. And the fact of the matter is there are some people in this world who are just born to be slaves. They are born to be followers. They are born to be exploited by you. And you need to stop being afraid of that power you have over them. You need to use them to the extent to which you might have to tell them to give up their lives. Because it's right. And it's not because you have some goal in mind that's all, you. It's because there's a greater good. If it's Christianity is you are telling people you need to die because if you don't, the world is going to be a worse off place if you don't. So that's a message that's not going to be, you're never going to hear that in media, I don't think, ever again, or very rarely, because they want to bury that kind of stuff. They do not want you to realize that you do have the power to do this. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're a follower. Maybe you're a sheep. But if you are a leader and you do know you have that power, find out how to use it. And do not be afraid to lead people, to use people. Do not be afraid to do that.